Coming up at UFC 282 on December 10th, we have a pivotal matchup in the UFC's 145-pound featherweight division. Not only is it a battle between ranked competitors, but it's a battle between two undefeated ranked competitors. In the 13-0 Bryce Thugnasty Mitchell, as he goes up against the striking and grappling phenom in the 12-0 Ilia Matador Topuria. Mitchell versus Topuria is a very interesting matchup, and I feel like a lot of people are going to look at this bout and make some similar comparisons to the Ryan Hall and Topuria fight that took place at UFC 264. And although I do see some comparisons based on the fact that both men do rely heavily on their wrestling and jiu-jitsu game, I think comparing Bryce Mitchell's overall game to Ryan Hall is a little bit disrespectful. I'm not saying that neither of them are world-class grapplers, because they both are. But Mitchell is way more competent on the feet, and not only that, but he mixes up his striking a lot more than Ryan Hall ever did. Ryan Hall will use striking to close the distance, but a lot of the times it's taekwondo or traditional karate style techniques, including round kicks, front kicks, and spinning hook kicks to the head or to the body, where he can use that to roll into the ashigarami game and the imanari game. Or the imanari roll into the ashigarami game, I should say. But if that doesn't work, he doesn't really have the weapons to compete with most of the top guys in the division when it comes to the striking game. Bryce Mitchell I wouldn't consider as one of the best strikers in the division, but he has power in his hands, and he has decent movement and awareness of range and distance when it comes to that game exactly. And when you look at Bryce Mitchell's last fight against Edson Jr. Barbosa, most people believed that there would be no competition when it came to the striking on the feet. But Bryce Mitchell quickly shut that down as he was able to use a 3-2 to drop Edson Barbosa up against the cage and then jump on him and be able to instill his world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling top game, which we just touched on moments ago. But staying on the feet against a man in Topuria who has some of the most clean and crisp boxing and entries into the pocket that I've seen from anyone in the 145-pound division, it's a little bit more risky for Thugnasty to try to thug it out in the striking. Now, if he gets Topuria to the mat, that's a whole nother game, and that's Thugnasty's world entirely. I don't think that Topuria can hang with the jiu-jitsu and submission offense that Bryce Mitchell employs on his opponents. But if you look at his recent record, a lot of his fights do go to decision, and although he will control you and maintain top position and be able to transition effortlessly, it's very hard for him to lock up submissions against guys inside the premier mixed martial arts organization in the world. Now, that's not really a problem, considering the fact that he's one of the only men to ever secure a twister submission inside the UFC, aside from the first twister that was ever executed with the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung against Leonard Garcia. But in order to implement your submission attempts and offense, you have to use your takedown offense to get the fight to the mat where you need it to be. And the thing is, Topuria has a 100% takedown defense rate. And although Ryan Hall and Bryce Mitchell do set up their takedown offense a bit differently, I still don't see Bryce Mitchell having much success getting takedowns on Topuria, because he is also a standout wrestler in his own right, executing effortless lateral drop throws against Yusuf Salal early in his UFC career, and I believe that was actually in his UFC debut. In my opinion, the range and closing the pocket is going to be the hardest thing for Bryce Mitchell to do in this contest. On the feet, I don't think Mitchell is much of a match for Topuria when it comes to the striking. Although he did get dropped by Jai Herbert and, have some big moments where Jai Herbert looked like he was maybe going to finish the fight in his last outing, he still was able to survive, close off the range, use his excellent and elite counter game, and eventually land a left body shot and come over the top with an overhand right to put Jai Herbert out cold. And that fight showed us a lot in terms of how Topuria can overcome adversity, adapt on the fly, download his opponent's offense, and then come up with his own offense all in the same. He can download your patterns and exploit them the longer the fight goes, even if he's in danger earlier in that contest. And I honestly think it's going to be much of the same here against Mitchell, but without the threat of the striking on the feet. Now again, I'm not saying Mitchell is a bad striker, because he's not. And if he gets Topuria to the mat and has him in the bottom position with Mitchell on top, it's going to be a long night for Ilia Topuria. However, like I said, the counter game, the footwork, the management of range, every time Mitchell tries to close that distance, I think Topuria is going to be in and out like a Matador, which his nickname implies, and he's going to be landing those shots to the body. I think on the takedown attempts of Mitchell, we're going to see Topuria look to implement a lot of framing off, knees to the body, and then setting up that left liver shot against Mitchell, or just a left body shot if he's in southpaw. That liver shot and the body work of Topuria is going to pay him a lot of dividends in this contest against Mitchell. It's going to stop the forward pressure, it's going to discourage the takedown attempts, and it's going to suck the wind out of the undefeated Mitchell. I really think that Topuria has the weapons to get it done here, and I'm going to be siding with him. Obviously, my predictions will come out closer to the event, but I think the range management, the footwork, the distance control, and the overall cleanliness of Topuria's striking game on the feet is going to be too much against a guy in Mitchell who, although he does have power and uses some decent footwork and lateral movement, his striking is rudimentary at best, and the technical side just really isn't there. I honestly fully believe Topuria will butcher Mitchell on the feet once he doesn't have that fear of the takedown inside of him. It's going to be those shots to the body that are going to set up the kill shot to the head against Mitchell and get Topuria a finish in this fight. But no matter how the fight plays out on December 10th, I feel like it was necessary to make a video showcasing this fight on its own. Because even though it's on the main card, it's the main card opener. And if you're not a hardcore fan, you may not know how good this fight is going to be. So, I wanted to make this in order to have any fan out there, whether casual or hardcore, or somewhere in the middle, engaged right from the get-go to watch probably one of the best fights in the featherweight divisional history. I'd like to thank everybody for watching the video, and if you enjoy the content that I create here for you on this channel, don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and land a 12-6 elbow on the notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on any uploads from the best mixed martial arts channel on YouTube. Thank you, and have a blessed day.